Hello everybody and welcome to Afternoon Tea, a brief history. Today we're going to take a short and sweet look at tea itself, what it is and where it comes from, and then dive into the history and customs of afternoon tea and see how that's evolved into what we know today. I'd like to take a moment to give credit to my colleague Olivia, who a few years ago did this program in person with me at the library. I'd like to thank her for all of her hard work putting the original program together and for being the inspiration to bring it back today. To start with, the big question is, what is tea? Essentially, tea is what's produced by steeping leaves of the plant Camellia sinensis in freshly boiled water. The leaves and leaf buds are harvested from the plant, and the manner in which they are fermented produces different varieties of tea. Among these varieties are herbal, fruit, white, green, oolong, and black. Herbal teas can be a bit deceptive, as not every herbal tea actually contains tea. Properly called tisanes or herbal infusions, these blends contain herbs, spices, flowers, leaves, and potentially other plant materials. However, they do not include leaves or leaf buds of the plant Camellia sinensis, meaning they have no actual tea content. The different varieties come with different caffeine levels and flavor profiles. Herbal comes in a variety of flavors, most notably by which herb is prominent within it, such as mint or lavender, and contain very little to no caffeine. White tea is lighter in color, contains a very subtle flavor profile, and is low in caffeine. Green tea is a bit stronger caffeinated and has a more mild flavor, which can turn bitter if it's brewed for too long. Black tea has a much more full, robust flavor and a higher caffeine content. Most varieties will state on their packaging the level of caffeine inside and the flavor profile you can expect to find from the tea. The recorded history of tea goes back to ancient China, where unofficially the first records show that it was used since 2700 BCE, first as a medicinal drink and later as a daily beverage. It was in 350 BCE that we see the first written accounts of planting, harvesting, and preparing tea. From China, tea spread out along trade routes, first to neighboring countries in Asia and then to the Western world. Today, tea is grown and cultivated in all corners of the globe, including the United States. Throughout history, tea has continued to serve as a medicinal beverage in many cultures, and some believe that you can tell a person's fortune and or the future by reading the tea leaves left in the cup after they finish their drink. Although tea is commonly associated with England today, it wasn't until the 17th century and a foreign princess that the drink truly became popular in the country. In 1662, when King Charles II married Catherine of Braganza, a Portuguese princess, she brought with her to the marriage a chest of tea. At that same time, Dutch traders had also been bringing tea into England, where it was beginning to gain in popularity. Tea quickly became the beverage of choice in English high society, and it did replace ale as the national drink. As tea continued to grow in popularity in England, it became a hot commodity and became heavily taxed. It played a role in both the Opium Wars and notably in the American Revolution as part of the Boston Tea Party. To protest England's continued high taxation, colonists in Boston Harbor threw chests of tea over the side of ships and into the harbor, destroying it. When discussing English tea, there is a notable difference between afternoon tea and high tea. The introduction of afternoon tea in England came via Anna, the 7th Duchess of Bedford, in the year 1840. At the time, the evening meals in the household were served later, around 8 o'clock, leaving a long period of time between lunch and dinner, and the Duchess found herself becoming hungry around 4 o'clock. And so the Duchess asked that a tea tray, including bread and butter and some cake, be brought up to her room during the late afternoon. Over time, it became habit for her friends to join her and also indulge in a cup of tea and a light snack. Traditionally, afternoon tea was served between meals and was meant for the upper classes, serving as a social gathering, not really a meal. Conversely, high tea was developed by the working classes. This was a full meal, not a snack, and was served at a high dinner table, not low sofas and chairs. High tea served as the main meal of the worker's day and would include tea, bread, vegetables, cheese, meat, and sometimes pies, potatoes, and crackers. Afternoon tea would eventually evolve to include some high tea customs. Whether you're taking afternoon tea or high tea, brewing the perfect cup is essential to the experience. When brewing tea, you want to ensure that you're using good water, not distilled. More oxygen equals better tasting tea. Boil your water and immediately fill a cup or kettle in order to warm the container, roughly 5 minutes. Then discard that water and refill your container with hot but not boiling water. Porcelain insulates tea better, and water that is too hot will damage the complexity of the tea. Once your container has been warmed and now contains hot water, you will add your tea, allowing it to seep or infuse into the water. Tea bags will infuse for roughly 3 to 5 minutes. If you're using loose tea, the infusion time will depend on the type of tea. If you're adding milk, do so while your tea is still hot. Then sweeten with sugar or honey as desired. When putting together a traditional tea service, there are a few materials to make sure you include in their proper place. Tea kettle water and loose tea should remain in the kitchen. On your tray, you'll have a teapot, sugar bowl with sugar cubes and sugar tongs, a milk pitcher, tea strainer, a slops bowl used for discarded tea bags and or loose tea, a small dish of lemon wedges, another vessel of hot water to dilute tea to the guest's liking. On the tea table itself will be the cups, saucers, forks, spoons, small plates, linen napkins, the food you're serving, and if you're providing scones for your guests, be sure to include a pot of jam and a pot of clotted cream. As mentioned earlier, afternoon tea served as more of a social gathering, and so the food served was much more dainty, more of a snack than a full meal. It included small finger sandwiches, cookies, and cakes. Today, sandwiches, including cucumber sandwiches, cheese sandwiches, along with cakes, cookies, scones, and other pastries, remain a traditional part of the afternoon tea service. However, one of the most quintessentially English parts of the tea service is the crumpet. Often confused with English muffins, crumpets are in fact a separate dish. Crumpets are made with milk and made only using baking soda. They are cooked on one side so the bottom is flat and toasted while the top becomes speckled with holes, similar to the nooks and crannies seen on an English muffin. English muffins themselves are more bread-like and are toasted on both sides. Crumpets themselves will be served whole with jam and butter spread on top, and is the English muffin that is split before serving, although some people do enjoy splitting their crumpets before eating them. Now that we've brewed our tea and set out our tea tray and tea table, we're going to go over a quick bit of etiquette, the do's and don'ts of afternoon tea. When taking afternoon tea, you want to be sure to try a little of everything that's offered on the table. Swallow your food entirely before you sip your tea. Make sure that the tea is replenished during the event and take your time enjoying a leisurely, relaxing experience. Afternoon tea don'ts include talking with your mouth full or taking large bites. Do not place any non-tea service items on the table. Do not use lemon and milk in the same cup of tea as it can cause the milk to curdle. Do not fill your cup too much or tip it too much. Do not leave your spoon in the cup. Do not look over your teacup while sipping. Do not push your plate away when you are finished eating, and do not discuss your personal food likes and dislikes at the tea table. Do not place your napkin on the table until you are ready to leave. Also, though many consider it proper form to stick out your pinky finger while sipping your tea, this is actually a myth. Sticking your pinky finger out while sipping tea is generally seen as at best an affectation and should be avoided at the tea table. Tea has been a part of the human experience for centuries. Though today we look closely at the English afternoon tea, the preparation of and ceremonies surrounding tea is an integral part of many cultures around the world. Though the expectations and etiquette surrounding tea services can be strict, as seen with the afternoon tea today, in the end, tea service can be as informal or fancy as you like. For example, should you find yourself taking tea with the Queen of England, you want to be sure that you study and observe all the rules of etiquette surrounding afternoon tea. However, if you're enjoying a cup alone or with a close friend or family member, you can be as informal as you like. What's most important is that this time be leisurely and relaxing for all involved. I recommend trying different blends of tea in order to find the one that resonates most with you. That particular blend may change depending on your mood and or the season. You may find you prefer a darker blend during the colder winter months and something much lighter during the spring and summer. When you're ready to enjoy your tea, pull out a favorite mug. This can be something as simple as one with a favorite character or saying on it, or a formal teacup complete with painting and 24-karat gold edges. Include with your tea a favorite food as a special treat, be it sweet or savory. This will make tea time a special event for yourself, a self-care opportunity where you allow yourself to sit back, relax, and just enjoy the moment. I'd like to thank you all for joining us for this digital video, Afternoon Tea, A Brief History. I hope you all learned a lot about the history of tea itself and how it came to England and evolved into the afternoon tea custom that many of us know today. Are you a long-time tea drinker, or did this video inspire you to try brewing a cup for the first time? Do you have a favorite mug or teacup at home, or perhaps even a full tea service? Share your thoughts on tea, brewing the perfect cup, and afternoon tea in the comments, along with any pictures of your own tea service and or favorite cup. I'd love to see your tea tables and look forward to hearing from everyone. Don't forget to stay tuned to the library's website, social media, and newsletter for more information about our upcoming programs and events. We've got a lot of great things planned as we head into the summer season, and I can't wait to see everyone at the next program. Thank you, and goodbye.